Debrief på Hankø til å annonsere litt på Debrief for deg. Ja, skal vi ha det? Ja, jeg hadde gjort det. Magnus?
Welcome everyone to the SAP Sailing Analytics debrief for day 3 here at Hankø. It's been a fantastic day, fantastic sailing conditions, close racing, shifty, all the things that makes sailing fun. And we have put together a panel. If you can have the next slide. It's Neil Harrison from MSU. It's Matthias Adamczewski from Wyvern, and Lars Ingeberg from Wanda is joining us one more time. The current was different today. It had the same direction, but it was less on the east side of the course compared to yesterday, where we had a river flowing. And in the first race, we had one boat going.
We tacked out and hoped to get some favorable wind shift to tack back. It never came. And then my eminent helmsman, Dag Utsterud, he had a feeling that just keep on going is going to be fantastic. And trying to convince us all, and the whole crew was getting more and more nervous. But we hit some current pushing us up a little bit, because the shift never came. And in the end I said, sorry Dag, we can't go any further out here. We have to tack back. And we were on ley line. We tacked back, and but according to him, his definition that we had stayed on top of the fleet. So we stayed according to plan, staying on top of the fleet.
I know Doug very well, so I know when he has a feeling, it's hard to convince that anything else is right. But we are going to show some statistic, and you're going to be surprised that maybe Doug's feeling is right, but we have to come back to that later.
Please don't tell him.
Matthias, when you came out to the race course this morning, it was a different ball game than yesterday. Was it easy to pick the side, or how did you decide? Flip a coin, or?
No, we didn't flip a coin. We thought about the current to go more on the left side of the course, to start on the left side of the line as well. and then to go up left side and find a gap to go then to the right to pick a shift. It was a little bit shifty, so you can see if you have high numbers, go on, and then if the numbers decreased, we tacked, and we did it later on in the race. But for us, unfortunately, we have always a speed problem in the start, so we had to tack forced by other boat, and that makes it a little bit difficult to follow your plan, which you decide to do. We planned for the first race for sure to go to the left side, because we saw the current coming down a little bit, so it helps us, the boats on the left side, to push, because the crowd's coming together, so we hoped for that as well. But then we had to tack away and to find free air. That was more difficult.
Yeah, of course, when you don't find a lane and you have to pick bad lanes, and then you have to tack because it's a bad lane and it's another new bad lane, it's hard. And then the one who's winning are winning more, and the one who are losing, they are losing more. So
The old game.
old game. Neil, your boat is pretty fast in these conditions. You had some problems, I saw.
Yeah, we had a few crew handling errors today, a couple of failures, but our plan for both races was always to try and take the bias on the line, and then manage the fleet from there, get away clean, try and extend as we should. We possibly should be extending a little more than we are, but that was always the plan, to manage the fleet, just get our nose in front, take any shifts, but just sit and wait off the line. So try and start in the last third, or certainly below the pack, and extend.
So what do you think about the first start? How was the BS?
It was flicking around quite a lot before the start, going from pin bias, occasionally slightly committee boat, and then coming back square. But we felt actually in the last 2 minutes it went quite pin, maybe up to 10 lengths.
That brings us to the first slide, race one. The bias was 0.2 meters. So this is almost a perfect line. So, and that's when you have a 610 meter long starting line and you have 0.2, that's an amazing job from the committee boat and the buoy boat. So, and then we can go to the next slide. That's the start at the starting moment. So we see Wanda up at the committee boat. Miss you in the middle together with you, Matthias. They were the boat to windward of you. And then we have two boats that we are following in the statistic. It's Silja and Pandora. We have a video from the drone. We had the drone up this today, and if you go to the next, this is 1 minute before the start, and it will, I think, go for a little more, a minute after the start. It's a pity that we couldn't see that it was on the other side, Lars, so we could see the accident, but yeah, up there is the committee boat. It's pretty crowded up there. There is one boat actually have to go all the way around. We were lying, you see our rib in front of the committee boat. So it was crowded, and you see here that when it's crowded, you don't get your boat up to speed, and you see here down to the pin end, it's less traffic, and it's easier to get your boat going. It's especially hard when you have a boat to leeward of you, or a faster boat to windward of you. So it's extremely important that you match the speed for both the leeward and the windward boat of you, so you don't get squeezed. You see already here the boats to pin end has gained some meters. So I think that's more because it was less traffic down there. So they were able to speed up quicker than the boats where it's was more crowded. If you take the next slide, we have this is at the gun. So almost every boat are on the line. There is in the middle there are someone that are a little back, but and you see there is little sag on the line. If you have some statistics, again, this is the distance to line 5 seconds before the start. Is the speed of ground 5 seconds before the start? Is the distance to line at start? And in these conditions, these boats are going around 3.6 meters per second. So I think you see here they are going around 7 knots upwind. So that's 3.6 meters per second. So the distance to line, they are all here a couple of seconds behind. Then we take the first upwind. It's one boat. This is not correct because these are the one that we have picked. But so there was a couple of more boats going to the right side. And if we have the statistic, Wanda is the boat that sailed the shortened distance. So being on the right side was a smart move. She has the VMG is quite good. So I don't know, maybe you were not up to speed because of the incident. Can you tell us more about that? Do you think you were that sort of flipped you a little bit out before you could concentrate on get the boat going?
Yeah, because the whole crew was flat on the deck trying to avoid the boom, trying to kill us all. So we were a little bit disturbed. And as you could see also from the statistics, I think our speed was below 3 knots because we just had to let everything out and just follow the boat above us. So just was bearing down on everybody. But as you also can see that when we were going out there in the waves, it was very, very choppy because we were starting to being pushed by the current from behind actually. So our speed wasn't so good. The boat speed wasn't so good, but we were actually making good progress. And so you can see also going back in towards the mark, we were actually lifted both by the current, but also in the beginning, but also with a small wind shift, luckily.
So you are saying it was more choppy out there?
Very choppy, because the current was pushing us from behind.
Yeah, and you can also see that your average SOG is lower than all the others, but you sail a shorter distance. So, so if you could, if it wasn't for the chop, you would probably have been first on the top mark.
Yeah, probably we would probably have had a much better boat speed, but the chop helped us. We had current pushing us up.
If we go back a slide. Matthias, can you tell us more about your first upwind?
The idea was go to the left side, but we were forced to tack, so we had to go up a little bit and then to find clear air, and then we wanted to go back to the left side as well, so we had just 2 extra tacks.
Yeah, you see, that's you are the one that are seeking into the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was only the reason to get out and then left again, to stay above the fleet, because on the right side were not so many boats, and I don't like to disappear from the whole fleet. So it's better to get close to it, even this close races.
Yeah. Neil, you went all the way out on the left side.
Yeah, we were looking at the classics that can be a problem to us. And we had Pandora underneath us. And so we were happy holding until we thought we were 90% of the way to lay, and then another one of the boats went underneath us, tacked underneath us, and we're okay. Time to go. Let's lead the fleet back from the left in case to dry. So
if we take, then we have to go 2 slides forward. It's the downwind. It's pretty straightforward. It's most of the boat did 1 jibe. It seems to me that it's not that much hitting the wind shifts. It's more to get the boat going. Do you agree on that, Matthias?
Yes, it was. When we rounded the mark, we were thinking about jibing, but they had an issue with the Genoa coming down very hard only, so then the fleet was between us and the possibility to jibe. But we saw the marks already, and we were pretty close to the marks, so we said, okay, we go on, and maybe we go without a jibe, or maybe just in front of the marks a jibe. So otherwise, if you jibe and cross, you lose meters. That's the normal thing.
Yeah, so it's going the long leg first.
Yeah.
And maybe you jibe if you have a bad lane. That's probably the only
that's the
reason.
only thing.
Yeah. If we go further, this is the statistic, and the numbers are also saying that everyone has sailed more or less the same distance and more or less done the same maneuvers. And the boat speed is also quite similar. Next slide. That's the second upwind. Then there were a lot of boats. We had a split, so there were actually boats going for the left side, but it tacked back, went all the way over, and was gaining on the top mark. I think we have the numbers up there. I think there was a lot of boats that actually went really well on that upwind. I think we go to the next race, race 6, which actually was the coolest one to look at, because it was by far the most closest races we have these days. We have the start here. We had a similar, and you can see also on the next. If we go to the next, we can take the stats first. These are the numbers, very similar to the one we had. Pandora is pretty close to the starting line. We had, I think, Wanda had one yesterday that sort of is the high score. It was 2.1 meter. So we have now Pandora in second with 6.8 meter. So that's 1.5 seconds. If we go to the first upwind on race 6, we had a big shift. So the boats that tacked earlier, that didn't go all the way to the corner, they gained a lot because the rest of the fleet had overstood the mark. And you also see here that the lines are coming together on the top mark. So you see, I think Sira was probably the one that did that upwind best. And if you go to the statistics, she had sailed way, way shorter than anyone else. So if you compare to Pandora, it's almost 600 meter less sailed. So, and she made a big gain on the result, on the score leaderboard on that upwind, and we had like 9 boats coming together on the top mark. Lars, you were pretty close up there with on that mark rounding. It's scary to watch.
Yeah, we were pretty close. We also overstood the mark, but we tried actually to close the door on as many as possible to avoid that they could tack back on starboard up at the mark. And of course, then we are getting very close to a lot of boats when doing that. So it is a little bit scary. But I think all of us in the boats, we don't see anything of that. We just do our jobs on board. So we don't really feel that we are close to a lot of boats.
Yeah, it's when you look at those bows, if that hits something in 7 knots, it probably goes all the way through.
Yeah, that is not something you should do. Then you would end up talking with the old gentlemen for hours, like I did yesterday. I hope they're very sleepy today, by the way. But so we have to avoid that. We all should try to avoid crashing into each other.
I think we have gone through most of the topics for today's racing. Now there is lay day tomorrow, a deserved lay day, and then we will be back on Friday morning with the weather briefing and hopefully same condition as today, so we can have some good footage and drones and everything. So thank you for now. Thank you for the panel for joining us. And you can watch the tracking on SAP Sailing. And if you go into Facebook, all mark rounding are filmed. The only mark rounding we didn't film was the coolest one, of course. That was the top mark in the second race. But then we again have a really, really good photo from that mark rounding, but we don't have any video. But if you go to Facebook, Sailogic, all the mark rounding are filmed live, so you can watch everything there. Thank you for today. Have a nice evening and enjoy.